Anyway, so let's get this started real quick. We're going to be looking at the Nautilus jungle here for Mr. Roboto. And by the way, if I actually do upload this to YouTube, I'm not sure if I'm going to. If I do, please let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more of these like daily. I could do them daily, honestly. I could do them every other day, and I could replace one of the gameplays every day. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you want me to or not. I am actually streaming right now, so if I look at chat or there's some like sub and stuff, you guys know what's up. Twitch is not working, no, but Twitch doesn't work with the new Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime sub stuff. Anyway, okay, so start with your W, I assume. Yep, WE, good, okay. I'm just gonna zoom through this because there's not really too much to say, right? Naut has a really healthy clear, which is good. I think Nautilus is actually... Okay, yeah, this was actually what I was going to say earlier. Damn, that's unlucky, dude. That's really unlucky. Let's see what happens. Let's see how you react, then we'll go back and explain it. Did he take it? Nope, he didn't. Okay. Nice, that was actually very smart. Okay, so let's talk about how you can actually avoid that, I guess, to start with, and then we'll look at the other thing. We're going to skip ahead, obviously, back in a second. But yeah, so what I was actually going to say is you are against a aggressive jungler. I'm going to rearrange this while we're talking, but you're against... Wait, where's the Lux? Lux is mid. Okay. You're against a really aggressive... Where's your Fiddlesticks? Mid? No, Fiddle is support. Alright, your team is completely whack, but alright. So, because you're against an aggressive jungler in Lee Sin, he might invade you. You're a tank, right? You're pretty easy to kill. So, what I would have done is ward. You can ward over here, most likely. This is where people are going to come from. If you just walk over, you drop your ward, it doesn't really matter, right? You're not going to be Nautilus. You're not going to be invading. You don't need a ward. It's just safety. You actually play it well for running away. You don't flash like a little pussy straight away, which is great. And then Cassiopeia moves. This is really smart though, actually. Like this was saying, this is one of the ways of dealing with it. What you can do, because you're Nautilus, you need to forfeit this buff. Like you can't do this buff anyway. If you try and do it, you're probably going to die. So actually going to your wolves and smiting is clever. I would base here though. So going to your wolves and smiting is clever because if you know, if he's coming back into jungle, you're going to know, right? And that way like you're a lot more safe. But I would actually base here because you're really low on health and like Nautilus doesn't have the best clear, right? But you, like Lee Sin could be going and trying to get your red. I don't even think you can do this. You're probably gonna have to leave, right? Yeah. So that's what I was saying. I think you should probably just a base after your wolves. If you get invaded and you lose all of your health, especially with refillable potions, normally you can't sustain back up. So that's kind of like unfortunate. But at the same time, I think you could have reacted to it a little bit better. Like if you're gonna take your camp, your wolves, fine. You smite, so you're safe, right? That's kind of smart. But then you really need to get your buffs off the map as soon as possible. So you're looking at your buffs, right? You're not looking at anything else. You're looking at your buffs. If I miss a sub, by the way, please spam me because I obviously can't see them, okay? Let's have a quick look. Okay. So blue's gone. Right, wandering around here. This is something I actually don't think... Oh, I forgot to look, actually. I forgot to look at your op.gg before they start the game. This is a bit of a weird path. Here, it's like you don't really have an idea of what you're going to do, right? So you've done your buff, or you've done your wolves here. So you have a choice, you go here and you gank top lane. Ganking top lane at the moment is probably not going to be very good because Riven's pushing in. So either you go and you commit to the Lux and you say, okay, I'm going to seek around, which isn't too bad. Like she's actually kind of pushed. You could probably come around here and you could like seek someone. Or I guess actually, really, you should go for your clear though. Like your Nautilus, there's no real reason to run around. The pink is good. The pink's a good purchase. But you're warding for like counter gank, right? That's really, really passive. Holy moly, okay. So, like, I understand what you did there because you pinked on one side, you go and ward the other side, so there's no way... You're wasting a lot of time now, though. Like, there's no way Lee Sin can counter gank if you're going to go for the gank, right? I guess you're taking it very slow and, like, a high percentage gank, but in my opinion, you wasted a lot of time there, which... And also, you're taking Cassiopeia's farm by saying after and taxing it, right? I don't think that's really worth it. So, Nautilus actually got pretty decent ganks, though. Really, so far, it's actually come down to efficiency. Like, you're not really efficient in your clear as much as you probably could be. I'm actually going to look up what your elo is, because I need to kind of tailor what I'm saying to what elo you are. And I have no idea, because I forgot to ask before, and it'll probably take too long to ask you to tell me in the chat. So, I'm going to look. The Diamond 1 jungler, why in the world am I looking at Diamond 1 Nautilus game? Okay, well, fair enough. If this was a Diamond 1 game, I understand the counter gank and stuff because of the Lee Sin. But so far, you've just wasted a lot of time. Actually, that was good. So you're playing kind of like a Nidalee would. Like, this is a really, this is a Diamond 1 game after a losing streak. Okay, fair enough. So, you're playing like you would in Nidalee, right? Nidalee goes into these lanes. She's very high pressure. She tries to like throw spears, be annoying, gank really heavily. But like Nautilus doesn't really have that same kind of pressure. So I don't know if you're used to playing more aggressive junglers where you can get away with that because you always have the pressure of a gank and like the kill, I guess. But like really so far, if you're going to play like a tank like this, there's not really much point doing it. You farm till 6 good though. And as soon as you've like done that, go out. Okay. So, this is what I'm saying, right? When you're looking at Lee Sin, this is really good. You path immediately out. So as soon as you get 6, you go and use the cooldown, right? That's really good. The problem here is though, like you use both your gap closers before he's kicked and before he's ward jumped. So you use like literally everything right now. So you use your passive, which is good. You use your ultimate. Use your... Has he used his W? No, he hasn't. Use your Q, use your passive, you use your ultimate. Those are the 3 bits of crowd control you actually have in your kit. And you use all 3 before he's ward jumped and before he's ulted, right? So the reason like you lost the kill there is probably because you tried to just insta burst him when you're a full tank Nautilus. I understand like you have Fiddle there and stuff, so maybe you think you can kill him like straight away, but really that's not particularly gonna work. I don't think. Like you could have waited for him to ward jump and then you could have used your Q. If he kicks you, you could key back into him. You could try and ult him as well with a Fiddle Fear. So I guess like I understand what you're trying to do when you're trying to burst him, but like you need to be aware of like how the fight's gonna play out before you do it, right? Like if you thought you could burst him, I kind of understand, fair enough. You do a lot more damage than I guess you probably expected. Good flash. But being like, I think you need to work out what the fight's gonna look like before it's even done. I don't know. It seems like you kind of rushed it a little bit and just went like full ham rather than thinking about how is the fight going to play out. What is Lee Sin going to do to get away from me and how do I make sure it doesn't happen, right? Okay, so, right. I think like a lot of this is actually coming down to what is your plan. Because so far, right, you've gone mid a bit, you've gone bot lane a bit, but you haven't really like, you've ignored top. So I understand like you're prioritizing the bot side of the farm, like you're getting the bot side of the jungle, you're getting the bot side of the lanes, like bot lane and whatever. But right now, like, what are you gonna do? You don't have your ultimate, okay? Fiddle has Fiddle has his? Yeah, Fiddle has his, but like, how are you actually gonna get in from that position, right? So you just wasted like 20 seconds behind the tower when I'm not really sure what you were gonna do with it. Like, I'm being super critical, right? Like, obviously you're a very good player or you wouldn't be Diamond 1. I know it's Oceania, right? Like, Oceania's not exactly a proper, you know, not really a proper server, so maybe you're not Diamond 1. The other, I'm just kidding, by the way, please don't hate me. But yeah, I know you're obviously a good player because you're Diamond 1, but so this is why I'm being super critical, right? Because if I'm not, like, I don't feel like you're gonna learn anything. Like, what's the point of going to basics, right? You already know your basics, you're playing the situations well, but like when they actually appear, like your flash and stuff, this is clever. You deactivate the ward, which is good, and you go for the fight, but like you're wasting time. Nice Mac green shit there. Okay, nice. So this is like what you did before with the Lee Sin, which is how you're supposed to do it when you have follow-up and damage, but like you shouldn't really do that kind of combo, blow everything at the start of the fight if you're not going to get anything out of it if it's just you, right? You need to play like a bit more of a sustained fight. I'm sorry, dude, I love you really. Okay, let's see what you've done so far. But yeah, so like if you just have a look, right, for just as an example, is like why I'm saying efficiency, wasting time is such a big thing. Lee Sin has 48 farm right now and you have 28, so like I don't know, like I think you're wasting way too much time in the jungle and it's costing you a lot of farm, and that's actually going to hurt you pretty big. You're ganking very well though. This is the good gank, right from behind. Everybody loves it from behind. Shouldn't have said that either. And that's pretty good, but like I think just you need to have a bit more of a plan. Okay. So what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? You're waiting for Lee Sin back in his jungle, right? Yep, okay. Yeah. So, this is what I'm thinking, right? In my head, whenever you're doing something, I'm thinking, why are you doing it, right? Like, if you have to analyze yourself a little bit like this, like, why are you doing what you're doing, right? So, in my head, if you're going to go and invade Lee Sin, he is going, unless you catch him mid-camp, which is really hard to do when he's used his W for like sustain and stuff. Why are you invading Lee Sin in the first place, right? Can you get over a wall like Lee Sin can? Are you going to blow your flash? You don't even have flash right now. So what do you expect to actually get out of it, right? Like, I mean, Cassio is going to come with you and stuff, but do you really think you can burst him before he actually jumps a wall, because you've got your red buff to take, you've got your Crux to take. If you'd have like, if we decided to look like, I know it sounds really dumb and stuff, but I'm just gonna run this, right? We're gonna go and we're gonna see this. I'm just gonna make the point because I don't think I need to make it twice, but okay. So we actually get the talent, which is good. Roamed up from mid. Yep. This is the other thing as well. Okay, so guess it doesn't even matter because you're not gonna go and farm anyway. But your mid lane is dead, right? Sorry, your top lane is dead. Their top lane is alive. So you're taking a 2v3 now, invading the enemy jungle. Because like, if you have a look, right, it's mid, top, and jungle. This is what I'm saying. You're prioritizing the mid and the bot lane, right? Like you're prioritizing that side, so you sit in the bottom jungle. But like, if you're gonna invade now, you're invading when your Riven doesn't even have TP. Like she can't get to you. You're invading on the top side when top laner is right there. Mid lane is missing because she just based. So she's going to be coming from base into you, like to stop you, or like, I don't know, maybe she comes from mid or whatever. But you're taking a risky dive, like risky invade, when there's so low risk, like so low percentage of reward. Like you're not getting anything out of it, right? And instead, what you should have done, like right here. Okay, so you're farming your, oh bollocks, I didn't mean to go back that far, sorry. I know, by the way, I'm not being super harsh and stuff, but like, I'm being harsh because I think you can take it more than anything else. So as soon as this happens, like right now, yeah, you're doing your chickens, whatever they're called, raptors, and you immediately see this. You should see this instantly if you're a Diamond 1 juggler. So you see that on the map. You should move like right now. You finish your chickens, fair enough, like if you're gonna do that. But then if you finish them, what's the point of even going top, right? At this point, you can see she's dead. Is she really gonna get out of this right now? Like, really, is she gonna get out of it? Because you carry on pathing up right now, even though you have no reason to. So at this point right here, just go from here, go get your red, go get your Krugs. It's completely free farm, and like, it's great, right? There's no real reason to go frag hunting here. Do I have a Discord for subs? I do. If you exclamation mark Discord, you can find, thank you whoever did that. So just run through this. I'm just gonna break down every little situation because I think like you're a good player, obviously, but you need to play these situations differently because you're not really thinking about cost-effective time, like wise opportunity cost. You're not thinking about like map pressure, like who if I have on the lane, what's gonna happen if I make this play. Like everything you do, right, has a consequence. That's how you need to think of this game. You need to think like, okay, if I do this, this is gonna happen, right? You should be predicting what is gonna happen at this level of play. And I don't think you're really like doing that. You're looking at, okay, I want to do this, and you're focusing on what you want to do rather than what's gonna happen afterwards, right? And also opportunity cost, by the way. It's basically the cost of doing something over something else. So, for example, you invading that Lee Sin is like that has a cost of you not getting your red buff and you not getting your Krugs. By the way, your red buff is still on the map. Like it's still there, waiting to be taken. You haven't taken your buffs for ages. Like I think you should prioritize taking buffs a lot more off the map. Go on her. Okay, good. You have Riven right behind you, so there's no real. That's an interesting flash. Surely she has no way of getting out of that. Okay. Riven goes on the Lux here. She is so dead because of these two. One, like it's Sona, right? You're never going to catch a Sona anyway, so there's no point chasing her. Turn around, go on the Lux. She's a higher priority. She's even got a kill streak on her. So you should turn around with the Riven here and go for her. Hopefully this is going to pan out anyway with the Riven. But, oh, dude, that Lee kick was pretty nuts. But yeah, I think if you were here... Oh, that barrier. If you were there, you would have been able to help that Riven, right? And you probably would have been able to turn around. At least, like, you could have flashed and you could have auto-attacked. You could have, I don't know, done something. Nice, good dive. I was going to say, I hope this guy gets punished for doing that. Yeah, so I think, like, be a bit more aware with your decisions and what you're doing. But anyway, so, like, opportunity cost, as I was saying, basically, what's the price of doing this thing over doing something else? So you need to be thinking about that way more if you jungle, because everything you do on the map, every little choice you make, whether I run bot lane, whether I run top lane, like out of the base and stuff, is thinking, okay, why am I running bot lane, right? Am I running bot lane because I'm going to gank bot lane after? Or why am I running to bot side jungle, sorry, because I'm going to gank bot lane, because dragon is spawning soon, because I'm going to go mid lane? You should always have a reason, right? You still haven't taken your red buff. Please, take your red buff. It's killing me. I don't know why you've left it up this entire time, but yeah, so just get that in your head, right? Like you're 3-1-5, you're playing actually a decent game, but you have 40 CS at 17 minutes into the game. That's pretty pants. And I know you've had a lot of impact around the map. Moby Boots is a good choice. I'm not really like talking about your build so far because it's fine, but you could be doing like way more, and personally you could have way more gold. I know like you're having a pretty good game. Like I'm not gonna say you're rubbish and stuff. I'm just like, I'm trying to be as in-depth as possible because I want you to actually get something out of this, right? Like you should be thinking about all of this kind of stuff a lot more. Okay, you max your E, which is good as well. I see a lot of Nautilus jungle players actually max their W, but E is so much better clear and damage. It's so much better. Nice castle. Holy moly. Oh, that was unlucky. Okay. This is a minor point. I know in the moment, fine, fair enough. But you should have ulted the Lux here. This is a very micro play, right? This is a like split-second decision that you have to make. That's a good hook because it actually bends the wall. Like that's a very good hook. But right here, right, you use your E, sorry. You could have just used your ult on Lux. It would have gone through the Talon. You could have finished him off, and then maybe you set up this because she's really low mana. She should have been thinking like afterwards, what's gonna happen after I make this play, right? Thinking ahead in the fight. I think that's the biggest difference. Like, I hope you're actually getting something out of this, by the way, Mesk, because like I hope you are getting something out of it. It's hard to coach a Diamond 1 because there are a lot of like little things that happen in the split second of a game where looking in hindsight, it's very easy to tell you this stuff. But so I'm trying to focus on like ideals and points where you change your mindset or you change your attitude, you change the way you look at the game, because I think that's probably like the best thing you can ever get out of it. Now this is the way, all these tiny details, this is how I was like when I was like almost challenger and stuff like a few seasons ago. This is how I would look at every single game, how I'd break down my own replays, how I do all of this stuff, is if I focus on the tiny details, right? These little tiny things will add up in a game, and these small advantages can like help you a lot more. But I guess it's kind of also about risk reward, I guess. Like, what's the risk of this play? What am I going to get out of it, right? So I don't know actually what you main. I don't know if you're a jungler or not. Okay, you're a support player. That makes more sense. Okay, so that would be why you asked me to do a jungle game, I guess. But yeah, so like you have to weigh up like risk versus what you're gonna get out of it, right? So what am I gonna like? What's the time investment? So what am I gonna get out of this? What's the time investment on the actual play I'm gonna make? How long is it gonna take me to do? Is it gonna be worth my time in the end anyway? What am I gonna get out of it? What's the chance it could go wrong? What can go wrong? So that if it starts to, you know, I can work out, is it like a big thing? Like for example, invading top lane, right? If we break that down, the timer sync is actually like quite high because you're running around and you didn't have Mobies at the time. Like you're losing out on a lot of farm as well, so there's a price to pay for it. Your chance of success is very low because he's probably just going to jump over a wall anyway, which is just matchup stuff. And I guess like the risk is pretty high because the bot lane, the mid lane and the top lane are there. Your top lane is not there. So even though you felt safe because you had Cassio running around with you, like it's 3 versus 2, right? Ultimately, it's going to be 3 versus 2. So there's a lot that goes into every single decision that you have to make. But you also have to think like, not just the risk of the play, I guess, but like what am I going to do in 2 minutes time, right? I like right now it's good that you went bot because you can counter this, but if you went top lane instead, for example, what would you do top lane? If you are going to do something, you have to have a reason, right? You have to have a... That was a really weird pick, but nice, good job. Well played. Yeah, you have to like think, what am I going to do after this? Your pinks are actually pretty good. Build wise, I don't know if I like this like 100%, but it's not exactly like bad. It's just Locket's very defensive. Like, so I know you have a Lux on the enemy team. She's like doing pretty well and stuff, so Locket makes a lot of sense. And I guess as well, Fiddlestick support, she's not really going to build a Locket. It doesn't look like he's going to build a Locket anyway. So that can be your magic resist item for sure. But you're against a Lee Sin, you're against a Talon, you're against an Ashe, right? So I would have thought something like a Dead Man's Plate, a bit more aggressive, bit more speed as well, so you can get into these ganks with Moby Boots, makes you even more deadly, you can get range for hooks better. It gives you a bit more damage on your combo. And I would have thought Deadman's would have just been a bit better this game to rush second and then lock it third. This is really risky again, right? Okay. Wrong ult target, but you got it, which is nice. I think you could have ulted the Lux there, but I mean that's been really critical, and in the moment you're trying to burst down the thingy, right? But so far, like, you're 5-1 and 6, right? So you're having a good game. Like, I'm not gonna like trash you and say you're bad at all. There's these tiny little things which, if you want to improve as a jungler, I think you need to like nail down. But so far, like, you've only made, I mean, well, you got Cassio killed, so I guess that should be another death added on, really. Good roam, okay. I think you just honestly need to think, what am I going to do after this? This is better because you've saved your hook now until after he ulted, which is a good thing. Oh, Fiddle, that's crazy, dude. Let's just see how the fight pans out. Nice. Nice, good job. So you can tell you're actually good at the game because your game knowledge once you get into situations is normally like fine. It's more just like the macro style of play, I think, and like the small details. Like the macro side is just like the bigger picture, right? Like what you're trying to do around the map, what you're trying to achieve. Probably would have ulted the Talon there, but yeah. That's the moat. Yeah, you got tower. I guess it probably wasn't worth 3 of your deaths, but never mind. But yeah, it's more like the macro side of play, so like where you should be on the map at what time, what you're going to do with your time as well, like what you're trying to achieve. But so far, I think you're doing pretty well actually this game. Yeah, see that sucked, dude. That was overstay, I guess. Like, I think I understand why you're trying to rush the tower down, and like you're with 2 very fed people, right? So in theory, you think it's gonna go well, but like I think actually Lee Sin is not the threat this game. Like you can body block Lee Sin's Q, right? But you can't body block the Talon stuff. So I would have personally ulted the Talon and just ran. So the overstay cost you Baron, which I guess sucks, but that's not the end of the game. Like you can still definitely win this game. Yo, killer. What? Yeah, okay. Thank God. Nice. You hesitated there. I think you need to... I don't think you should hesitate at that point. Just like watch this here. See how... I don't know if this is pathing or if this is you. I hope you didn't right click on her. But look how you path up, right? You path up, but this is really obvious. Like, she is like really on her own at the moment, right? Like you see Lisa on the top side of the map. Worst case, I guess there could be like 3 other people. But you still have 4 people here. So that like a little hesitation makes it actually, like that's what keeps her alive. Because if you'd have gone down, you would have already caught her right here. Miss Fortune would have caught up. And then you'd been able to go. So I guess that hesitation is not ideal, but that's easy for me to say, right? Did you smite that? No. Feels bad, man. That was a bit of a ham engage. I mean, that's just unlucky. Lux has a lot of damage. Oh, that was a really good flash. I don't think she meant to do that, though. Okay, maybe not. Feels bad. Yeah. Okay, so. You don't have ult, right? Like, if we just look at this situation, like, as a jungler, you're going to need to control a bit more. So, Riven is here, right? Riven gets completely screwed. Like, insta-burst, right? At this point, you have no ult, you have no backup. Look at where your team is. Like, look here. Like, these guys here again. This is thinking ahead, right? Like, I know, as a support, I don't think it's as, like, it's not quite the same. Like, when you're going to engage a fight like this, it's not quite the same because you can go in, you can use your stuff, and it's up for your team to, like, follow up on the engage, I guess. Nautilus is kind of the same, I guess. He's, like, a bit of a support-y. Well, the way you're building him is a bit support, but... Like, what do you actually expect to get out of here, right? At this point, like, I know in hindsight it looks dumb, but like, I've got it on your vision, so you can see 3 people here. You can already see, look at Miss Fortune's health, man. Look at Cassiopeia, like, this. I don't know what you expect to get out of that, right? So I'm not gonna like bash it because I think you can tell, obviously, that that's not a good play. But this is kind of where it's like starting to spiral out of control a little bit. Like you've gone from having a massive gold lead, you overstay, they get Baron, you engage a fight, you're the one who really commits to that. Like without being like a dick, I know the rest of your team went in and stuff and Cass flashed in, which is ultimately what got you killed, but like yeah, you were the one who actually went in, I guess. So yeah, okay, let's have a look real quick. I have no idea, by the way, what's going on in the chat. I'm not really reading right now. Okay, so this pink ward actually, I don't think that's a really good pink ward because if you think about it, like, what's your aim right now, right? Please, is that your pink ward? Yeah, it's your pink ward. So this right now, like, you have to be thinking in the mindset of your team. Like, you're actually behind. You're behind in kills and stuff. This is a really aggressive pink, and this is probably gonna get stomped instantly. Like, what vision are you trying to get, right? This is the kind of, like, what I kind of want to, like, at least you get from this jungle, like, gameplay, I think, is why are you doing stuff when you're playing jungle? Like, as a support, I kind of, like, a lot of it's vision control, so your vision should be good anyway, but I guess you aren't punished as much because this early kind of, like, running around the map and what you're going to do with your time and stuff is very easy for a support. Why does your Misfortune have a... Why does she have a Trinity Force? What is going on? But yeah, as a support, it's not as hard because, like, roaming's not punishing anyway. If you roam at the bad time, like, you're not really going to get punished too hard, and you're in lane most of the time. But funny enough, that pink hasn't actually got stumped yet, so it's actually a decent ward. But really, like, what does that actually give you? You're on the back foot, right? They're pushing into you a lot of the time. Does that really tell you anything? Like, that they're going through it? I guess it tells you on the top side of the map, but look at the problem now. Problem is, this entire area is black, right? All of this, you have no idea. This entire thing is fog of war. So that doesn't really give you anything, right? You need to be warding a bit, like, further, a bit closer to yourself. Also, Deadman's is more of a Deadman's at this point in the game when you're behind is kind of useless. I would get randomins instead. Like, Deadman's is more of a snowball item. You get it to go faster. You get it to gank people more damage in a gank. Really, right now, you're just a front line, right? You have to rely on the rest of your team to do the damage. So I personally would have got randomins. I don't see... Especially as a triple crit AD as well. I mean, that worked, but that was a little bit of a weird ult onto Sono. Worked, right? I guess you were just trying to get the pick and engage, which is fine. It was a good engage, though, because you saw there were already 2 of them, right? So you can go. It's good. But yeah, I think, like, honestly, the biggest things you can take away from this, like, you're obviously a good player, because otherwise you wouldn't be down 1, right? But I think you just need to work on your early game and, like, your path efficiency. So if you're in the top side of the jungle, like, take your camps, right? A lot of the time you would go in, you'd take one camp and then you'd leave and you'd go out and do something else. Like, why don't you just take this one, take your red, take your Krugs, and you get all 3 golds in, like, all 3 gold camps, like, straight away. Like, efficiency wise, that's so much better than running to your jungle, getting one, then leaving, then recalling, then coming back and getting another one. And if you'd have had, like, right now your farm's pretty good because you're taking a lot of the minion farm, like, on the lanes. But early game, you didn't really have as much farm as you probably should have. Your pressure was really good, though. Your pressure was really good. I don't know about that. That was really deep with no vision. This is something you're going to have to learn a bit more of. Like, when you're jungling, when you're primary engaged like this, when you're playing tanks and stuff. Like, you can see Lux behind, right? You can't ult Lux, which you haven't done because she's got Zon. He's actually on cooldown, but you probably don't know that. Which I wouldn't expect you to either, really. Like, you can see 2 people here. You can see Talon on the map, that's fine. But, like, you know, you don't have your Riven, you don't have your Misfortune, and you're going to go, like, completely ham. I think this is desperation. Like, I would say this is desperation now. You feel like you haven't really got any way of doing it. By the way, if you look at your Deadman's now, it's doing no damage. Like, I think Deadman's was the wrong purchase here, in my opinion. I don't think it really gives you anything. But this is a really risky play because you're face checking a lot of people here. And again, you're not really thinking about, like, alright, if I go in here and if I engage this fight, what's going to happen, right? I don't think you're really, like, I don't know. You're not really thinking about the consequence afterwards, which is basically the story of the early game as well. Like, you're not really weighing up risk versus reward. And also, I don't think you, like, for the Baron, for example, right? If we just look back at what you should have probably done. Right. So, this is, I'm going to do it from here, even though you decide. But your Baron is up in 6 seconds, right? Get vision control. Get your, like, wards around the map with your support, who actually has no Sightstone charges, it looks like, but I'm gonna guess. Nope, he has 3. So you could de-ward this, right? You could run around, you could get vision control, and you could set up ready for the Baron so they can't do it while you're waiting for your Misfortune and your Riven to actually come back onto the map, right? That should be your priority, setting up, like, ready for the play. So I guess this is coming down again to what you're gonna do in, like, 2 minutes time or a minute's time. Like, you're thinking, okay, Baron's about to spawn. What do I need to actually make sure the enemy team don't do Baron, and if I was going to do it, right? You need to set up vision control and need to wait for your actual carries before you do anything so you can 5-on-5. Because your 5-on-5 is nasty. You have Fiddlesticks, Nautilus, Cassiopeia, Riven, and Misfortune. That's a disgusting 5v5. The only reason you're losing now is because you're going 1 by 1. And really you should know that because, like, Ashe is a good carry. Like, I know she's doing pretty well, but Misfortune is way more fed. Like, Lux is doing pretty well in a C fight, I guess. But, like, Talon really... Drop a pink, which you haven't got in your inventory. I understand because you're kind of, like, capping out magic resist, I guess. But like pink's really important because you drop the pink, you ult the Talon, and he can't kill your Misfortune or your Riven, right? And you should win the team fight from that, I think, pretty much. So if I was you, I'd recognize that my comp was a team fight comp, and I'd say, okay, what do I need to actually do to get a team fight? Well, I need to either bait them into vision or I need a good engage. And you need to be 5 to start with, right? So you have to wait for everyone to come in, and the only thing you can really do now is get vision control. So regardless of like the fight going well or badly, this is another case of like a high risk play when you're gonna try and fight when you've only got Cassiopeia and your support with you. Even though it's Fiddlesticks, I know, like it's still just support, right? It doesn't really have any damage that much, and you're not really like prioritizing. You're not playing to win conditions as the comp. Unfortunately, like your team is running around kind of a bit like headless chickens and stuff, but still, really, you should know where your win condition is and you should be trying to play for it. That's another point, like just in general with any comp, I guess. Okay. Let's see what you're gonna do now. In my opinion, by the way, in games like this, here comes the whoa, hang on a second. Sorry, Jay. Thank you very much for 8 months. Sorry, dude. I don't know why that just went through. Thank you very much, dude. Let's get them fiber chat. Thank you for the resub. I really appreciate it. Welcome back. Welcome back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. At this point, I mean, okay, you're gonna flank. That's interesting. I guess probably not the best plan ever, but not terrible either, actually. Nice try. Nice try. I mean, the game's pretty much over at this point. I think, like, you've kind of outdone your usefulness. Like, you got all the kills. You were like 5-1 and something, right? 5-1 and 8 or something like that, and like now you're 5-5 and 15. So like Nautilus is effective early, and then in team fights he's basically a pill machine and a team fight beast, and you haven't really team fight with him, team fought with him, I guess, at all. Plus you haven't really like grouped as a team and used his strength, I guess. Like your team's not playing for the win conditions, so I'm not sure about GA either, but I guess like it's not that bad actually, because you have to kill you twice, right? Yeah, so basically the story of this game, I'm going to probably stop it there, but the story of this game is sort your clear speed out. What are you going to do? Plan ahead. So, okay, I'm going to go to top side. I'm going to clear Krugs. I'm going to clear race. Then I'm going to gank mid, right? That's your plan as you're coming out of the base. Instead of, okay, I'm going to clear chickens. Then I'm going to run around for like 5-10 seconds, see what I can do. And then I'm going to like maybe go back into my jungle, maybe do a gank or something. You need to think ahead about how plays are actually going to pan out, like what the play is probably going to look like. I'm just going to get it off here so you don't get the sound effects. And I guess like actually just like opportunity cost. If I do this, what am I going to do? Like if I do this, what does it cost me? What do I get out of it? Thinking properly about the situation before you take it. And really as well, just like thinking ahead. So, okay, what are my win conditions? What do I want to do right now? Do I want to camp mid? Do I want to camp bot? Do I want to like take this? What do I want to achieve in 2 minutes? If your goal is to achieve like 2 minutes, okay, I want to like gank bot and use my ultimate or something like that. Then if you are close to 6, you want to like go to your bottom lane, bottom jungle, sorry, and just take those 2 camps, get 6, then run down. It's just that kind of thing where like you want to make sure you're always having a plan, right? That's I guess the biggest thing. Yeah, I hope you actually found that useful. So if I upload this to YouTube, I'm not entirely sure. If I do, I hope you guys found this useful as well. And make sure you leave in the comments if you want to see more of these or not. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps this up. Like, you didn't play badly at all, but I don't think you really played to your win conditions, and I think you probably could add a bit more impact than you actually did this game. Just with the little stuff, and especially mid-game, like, I think trying to get your team to play to their win conditions would have definitely helped as well. But yeah, I hope you guys found that useful, and catch you tomorrow, I guess.